Hi everyone. I'm Tassel from Susan's family. Today I'm going to show you a new design. Happy Journey hand fan, koi version. This fan is divided into 3 parts. The main part, the decorations, and assembly. First, we make the main part, then create the decorative elements, and finally assemble everything together. Let's start with the main part, which includes making motifs and connecting them. First, we crochet the motifs, then connect them to the fan frame after completion. The motifs start with a chain ring method. Crochet in rounds counterclockwise. You'll need to switch colors during the crocheting process. The crochet stitches used include chain stitches, double crochets, single crochets, and slip stitches. Now, let me demonstrate the specific crocheting method. Take out the corresponding yarn. To make it easier to watch, I'll demonstrate using different yarn here. And the colors are random. For specific yarn, color schemes and hook sizes, please refer to the product's detail page and paper instructions. First, start with a chain stitch. Make 12 chain stitches. Mindful not to crochet the chains too tight. Check the stitch count after completing. 1 braid represents 1 stitch. The loops on your hook are not counted as stitches. Then go back to the first chain stitch. Pick up the top loop of the chain and make 1 slip stitch. Pull tight. This completes the starting chain. Now start hooking the first round. First, make 3 chain stitches as the turning chain. This serves as the beginning chain for the double crochet. Count as 1 double crochet stitch. Then work 2 chain stitches as a space. Next, work 1 double crochet in the starting ring. You can hide the yarn tail as you go. Then work 2 chain stitches as a space again. The rest of this round will be worked in the starting ring. Alternate between working 1 double crochet and 2 chain stitches. Continue crocheting downward. Check the stitch count after completing. Including the turning chain, there are 12 double crochet stitches in total. Finally, pick up 2 threads on the 3rd chain stitch of the turning chain. Work a slip stitch. Pull tight. The next round requires a color change. Work 1 chain stitch to secure. Leave a 5 cm yarn tail, and break the yarn. Hide the yarn tail into the fabric. Trim off the excess yarn tail. This completes the first round. You can see the clear texture on the right side of the double crochet. The texture on the wrong side is blurry. Motifs are always crocheted on the right side. Move on to crochet the second round. Take the corresponding color yarn. Attach the yarn to the starting chain. Make a slip knot. Insert the hook. Draw the loop through. Adjust the loop size. Joining done. Make one beginning chain to start. The beginning chain of single crochet doesn't count as one stitch. Crochet one single crochet at the joining position. Then crochet 10 chain stitches. Next, skip one chain space underneath. Crochet one single crochet in the double crochet on the left side. Then crochet 5 chain stitches. The remaining part of this round is to crochet one single crochet in each double crochet from the previous round. All done. Alternate between single crochets by crocheting 10 chain stitches and 5 chain stitches. Follow this method and finish the last single crochet. Once the last single crochet is completed, crochet 2 chain stitches. Crochet 1 double crochet in the first stitch. Don't break the yarn. This completes round 2. Now crochet round 3. Start with 6 double crochets in the chain space of the 10 chain stitches on the left side. Then crochet 3 chain stitches. Then crochet 6 double crochets. We will consider the part we've already crocheted as one motif in this round. After completing that, make one single crochet in the chain space of the 5 chain stitches on the left side. The remaining part of this round is to crochet one motif in the chain space of the 10 chain stitches. Crochet one single crochet in the chain space of the 5 chain stitches. Follow this pattern to finish this entire round. End by crocheting one single crochet in the chain space of the 2 chain stitches on the left side. Finally, join with a slip stitch to the first double crochet of this round. Next, compare the size with the dimensions shown in the chart. If the size differs significantly, you'll need to adjust your tension and crochet again. After completing that, chain 1. Finally, cut the yarn. This completes the third round. Next, move on to the fourth round. Attach the yarn in the chain space of the 3 chain stitches on the left side of the yarn tail. Make 3 beginning chains. Which counts as 1 double crochet, then crochet 2 chain stitches with a space in between. Crochet 5 double crochets in the same stitch, with 2 chain stitches between each double crochet. After completing that, crochet 6 chains. We consider the beginning chain, and the following crocheting as one sequence. Crochet another sequence. In the chain space of the 3 chain stitch on the left side of the motif, crochet 6 double crochets. Leave 2 chain stitches between every 2 double crochets. Then crochet 6 chains. This completes another sequence. Repeat this technique to complete this round. Finally, slip stitch into the 3rd chain stitch of the beginning chain. Cut the yarn. This completes the 4th round. Now we'll work on the 5th round. Take the corresponding yarn. Attach the yarn at the insertion point of the slip stitch from the previous round. Make 1 chain stitch to start. Crochet 1 single crochet in the same stitch. Then crochet 8 chain stitches. Skip the chain space on the left side. Crochet 1 single crochet into the double crochet on the left. Then crochet 4 chain spaces. Next, crochet 1 single crochet in each of the 4 double crochets on the left. Alternate between 8 chain stitches and 4 chain stitches between each single crochet. After that, crochet 6 chain stitches. We'll consider the first single crochet and the stitches that follow as one sequence for this round. The remaining part of this round will be repeating this sequence. Please refer to the chart and complete this round accordingly. Don't cut the yarn at the end. That's the end of round 5. Now move on to round 6. Start with 1 chain stitch as the beginning chain. Insert the hook into the entire double crochet, and crochet 1 single crochet. Then, into the 8th chain space on the left, crochet 4 double crochets. Next, crochet 3 chain stitches. In the same position, crochet another 4 double crochets. We'll consider the stitches worked in the same chain space as one group of stitches for this round. Next, work 1 single crochet into the 4th chain space on the left. Then, work 1 group of stitches into the 8th chain space on the left. That means crochet 4 double crochets first. Then crochet 3 chain stitches. And finally crochet 4 more double crochets. One group of stitches is now done. Next, work 1 single crochet into the 4th chain space on the left again. Into the 8th chain space on the left, work another group of stitches. After that, work 1 single crochet into the 6th chain space on the left. The remaining part of this round will alternate on the chain spaces. Crochet 1 single crochet and 1 group of stitches. Note that each group of stitches should be worked into the 8th chain space. Everyone follow this method to complete the round. Finally, join with a slip stitch to the first single crochet. Cut the yarn. Round 6 is completed. Now we'll work on round 7. Take the corresponding color yarn. Attach the yarn into the 3rd chain space on the left side of the yarn tail. Chain 3 to begin. Count as 1 double crochet, then chain 2 spaces apart. In the same space, crochet 3 double crochets. Between each double crochet, skip 2 chain stitches. After completing that, crochet 4 chains. We'll consider the turning chain and the following stitches as one sequence. Then crochet another group, which means in the next 3 chain space, crochet 4 double crochets. Between every 2 double crochets, skip 2 chains. After completing that, crochet 4 chains. Another group is done. Everyone follow this method to finish crocheting. Finally, join with a slip stitch to the turning chain. After completing, take out the fan frame and fit it for comparison. Pay attention, there's a layer of rust-proof oil on the fan frame. First, wipe off this layer of oil with a tissue. You can wipe it a few times. Once it's clean, fit the fabric piece against the fan frame for comparison. Hold the motif with your left hand, and give it a gentle tug with your right hand. Make sure it doesn't extend beyond the fan frame. Once the fit is good, cut the yarn and weave in the ends. Also, make sure to weave in any remaining yarn tails that are still visible. That completes round 7. Next, we'll crochet round 8. This round needs to be connected to the fan frame. Take the corresponding yarn and position any group of stitches from round 3 of the motif facing upward. Above this stitch group, join the yarn in the second chain space of round 7's center. Make 1 chain stitch to start. After completing, remove the fan frame and position the pointed end of the fan frame facing upward as well. Then work 1 single crochet at the joining point. Pay attention to go through both the chain space and the fan frame. Next, work 3 single crochets into the next 2 chain spaces on the left side. Remember, for this entire round, you need to go through both the chain spaces and the fan frame together. It's a bit tricky to crochet, everyone needs to be a bit patient. Next, work 8 single crochets into the 4 chain spaces on the left side. Continue working 3 single crochets into each of the 2 chain spaces on the left side. We'll treat the 8 single crochets on the right side, and the following stitches as one sequence. Everyone, continue crocheting using this method. Keep crocheting until you reach the last chain space at the end. After completing, you'll arrive at the right side of the fan frame's pointed end. Work 3 single crochets into the 2 chain spaces. Work 1 single crochet into the chain space at the joining point. Then slip stitch to the first stitch. Crochet 1 chain stitch to secure. Leave a 10 cm yarn tail, and cut the yarn. Wrap the yarn tail along the pointed end of the fan frame. Apply glue while wrapping and attaching. Once wrapping is done, take the fan handle. Apply more glue. Insert the pointed end into the fan handle. This completes the explanation of the motif and its connection. The explanation of the main part is now complete. Next, let's move on to the accessories. These are divided into the face, the eye sockets, and the tail. First, we'll start with the face. Begin with a magic ring. Crochet in rounds counterclockwise. Switch colors during the process. Before crocheting, let's take a look at the chart. In the chart, our plus number indicates the round number. The column labeled increases and decreases explanation shows how to increase or decrease stitches. This indicates the crochet stitches you'll need to use and when to increase or decrease. The total stitches column shows the total number of stitches. After completing all the stitches in that round, several crochet stitches will be applied, and they're all marked on the chart, so I won't go through each one individually. Now, watch me demonstrate the specific crochet method. First, make a double magic ring. After casting on, start crocheting the first round. R1 is 3ch, 11f. CH stands for chain stitch. The number before CH indicates how many chains to make. Here, it means to make 3 chain stitches. These 3 chain stitches serve as the turning chain for the double crochet, and count as 1 double crochet stitch. F stands for double crochet. The number before F indicates how many double crochets to make. Here, it means to make 11 double crochets in the magic ring loop. After that, close the magic ring. Then pick up 2 loops on the third chain stitch of the turning chain, and slip stitch through them. The slip stitch does not count as one stitch, and needs to be pulled tight. This slip stitch is not indicated in the chart. When crocheting in rounds, always finish by joining with a slip stitch and pulling tight. This completes the first round. Next, crochet the second round. R2 is 3CHF 11FV. The brackets mean to crochet in the same position. Start by making 3 beginning chains. Then work 1 double crochet in the insertion point of the slip stitch. You can hide the yarn tails as you crochet. This completes the stitch pattern in the brackets. Next, crochet 11FV. This means to make 11 double crochet increases, which is working 2 double crochets in the same position. Pay attention to the left stitch, where it may pucker. Just pick up those 2 strands. This completes the double crochet increase. Next, repeat this process. Work 1 double crochet increase in each stitch of the previous round. Finally, join with a slip stitch to the beginning chain. This completes the second round. Now, work on the third round. Make 3 beginning chains as the turning chain. Then work 1 double crochet increase in the left stitch. Next is FFV, X11. The parentheses indicate a repeating sequence. The X number shows how many times to repeat the pattern. Work 1 double crochet in the left stitch. Work 1 double crochet increase in the next stitch. This completes the content inside the parentheses. Complete the rest of this round following the same method. Finish by joining with a slip stitch to the beginning chain. This completes the third round. For the fourth and fifth rounds that follow, the method is similar to the third round. Simply refer to the chart to crochet the corresponding stitch patterns. Remember to pay attention while crocheting, not to forget the turning chains and slip stitches. After completing each round, always check the stitch count to avoid mistakes that affect the finished product's appearance. Everyone complete the fifth round following the chart, then move on to the sixth round. You'll need to switch colors at the start of this round. Begin with a chain 1 as the starting chain. The beginning chain for the single crochet doesn't count as one stitch. This starting chain isn't marked on the chart. In fact, when a round starts with a single crochet, you should always make a chain 1 to begin, then work 5 single crochets. Followed by 3 half double crochets. One double crochet, then 3 half double crochets. followed by 5 single crochets. Switch colors at the last single crochet. When you reach the 5th single crochet, start an incomplete single crochet, insert the hook into the stitch. Pull the yarn through. The incomplete single crochet is done. Then take the corresponding color yarn. Leave a tail and pull through. Completing the 5th single crochet, and switching colors. Continue downward with the new yarn, making 2 single crochets. Crochet while wrapping the yarn tail inside. Cut the original yarn, leaving a 5 cm tail. Then work 1/2 double crochet. Two double crochets. After completing, make 1 double crochet in the left stitch. Then work 1 treble crochet in the same stitch. Yarn over the hook twice. Insert into. Yarn over and pull through. There are now 4 loops on the hook. Then yarn over and draw through the first 2 loops. Repeat 3 times. 1, 2, 3. Treble crochet is complete. Work 4 TR2 in 1, which means 4 treble crochet increases. A treble crochet increase is working 2 treble crochets into the same stitch. Let me demonstrate again. Yarn over the hook twice. Insert into. Pull the yarn through. Then yarn over and draw through the first 2 loops 3 times in a row. That's the first stitch. Now work another treble crochet. The treble crochet increase is now complete. Continue crocheting following the chart until before the slip stitch. Once the half double crochet is completed, work 1 slip stitch. This slip stitch doesn't need to be tightened. Keep crocheting down according to the chart. Finally, join with a slip stitch to the first stitch. That concludes the explanation for the 6th round. Next, we'll work on row 7. Make 1 beginning chain to start. Turn your work to flip the piece counterclockwise. Then work single crochets into the corresponding stitches. Pay attention, after turning, the stitches will be on the upper left side. Continue crocheting following the chart. Once the required number of single crochets is completed, pick up the left side loop of the slip stitch. Work 1 slip stitch. Then continue crocheting according to the chart. Once the final slip stitch is completed, pull the yarn through directly. Then leave a 5 cm yarn tail, and break the yarn. This completes row 7. Now move on to round 8. Take the gold thread. Note that this round is worked by combining 2 strands of gold thread into one. First, turn your work back to the right side. Join the yarn in the last stitch of row 7, which is the slip stitch loop on the left side of the yarn tail. Make a slip knot. Then pick up the slip stitch loop and pull through. Then make 1 slip stitch in the left stitch. Mindful not to make the slip stitch too tight. Next, work slip stitches into each stitch of the previous row, matching up one by one. Once the slip stitches of row 7 are completed, you'll reach the stitch position left on round 6. Continue matching up and crocheting slip stitches one by one. After completing the last slip stitch, leave a 5 cm yarn tail and fasten off. First, pull out the yarn tail. Cut the yarn. Then pull through from underneath the first slip stitch loop on the left. Next, pull through from the middle of the last slip stitch loop. Finally, draw the yarn tail to the wrong side. Weave in the yarn tail. Round 8 is now completed. At the same time, one side of the face is also completed. The other side of the face will be completed in the same way. Next, we'll learn how to make the eye socket. Begin with a magic ring. Crochet in rounds counterclockwise. Now, let's show. Everyone, first crochet the first 3 rounds according to the chart. The swatch has already been prepared in advance. Finally, join with a slip stitch to the beginning chain. Mindful not to make the slip stitch too tight. Then leave a 30 cm yarn tail, and cut the yarn. Then proceed with finishing. Pull the yarn tail through. Pull through the double crochet stitch of the second stitch from the left. Then pull through the middle of the slip stitch braid. This completes the finishing. Round 3 is also completed. For the next round, crochet slip stitches into each stitch in sequence. Remember to work with 2 strands of gold thread as one strand. Leave a 5 cm yarn tail at the end for finishing. Everyone, complete this round. This finishes one eye socket. There's one more eye socket. Everyone, complete it using the same method. Next, we'll learn how to make the tail. It's divided into tail 1 and tail 2. Both are started with a foundation chain. Work back and forth in rows. New stitch techniques will be used: double crochet decrease and treble crochet decrease. Now I'll demonstrate using tail 1 as an example. As for the remaining tail 2, everyone can learn it first. Then crochet following the chart. Now, let's show. First, start with a foundation chain. Leave a 20 cm yarn tail at the beginning. Then begin crocheting chain stitches. Mindful not to crochet the chains too tight. Check the number of stitches after completing. Next, crochet row 1. Start with 4 chain stitches as the beginning chain. Then count back from the left side of the hook. Work into the 5th chain stitch. Pick up the top loop of the chain, and work 1 treble crochet increase, TR2 in 1. Then refer to the chart. Pick up the half loop of the chain and crochet the corresponding stitch. Finally, work 1 single crochet into the first chain stitch. This completes row 1. We'll consider the right side of row 1 as the right side of the entire piece. Next, crochet row 2. Make 1 beginning chain. Turn your work over. Then work 1 slip stitch into the first stitch. The slip stitches on the oval shape do not need to be tightened. Continue crocheting according to the chart until reaching the end, leaving 1 double crochet decrease, DC2 tog, remaining. The swatch has reached the corresponding position. Work 1 double crochet decrease, DC2 tog. Start with an incomplete double crochet on the left stitch. Yarn over and insert the hook. Yarn over and draw through. There are now 3 loops on the hook. Yarn over and pull through the first 2 loops. The incomplete double crochet is now completed. Next, work an incomplete double crochet on the left stitch. Finally, yarn over and draw through all loops in once. The double crochet decrease is now complete. Row 2 is also completed. Continue to crochet row 3. First, turn the work. Then work 5 slip stitches corresponding to each stitch in sequence. After completing that, work the corresponding number of chain stitches. Row 3 is now completed. Next, crochet row 4. Chain 4 to start this round. Then return to the 5th chain stitch. Pick up the half loop on top of the chain and work 1 treble crochet. Continue following the chart. Pick up the half loop on top of the chain, and work the corresponding stitch pattern. After finishing the chain stitch area, you'll reach the slip stitch position. Pick up the insertion point of the slip stitch, and work 1 double crochet. Next, correspond to the stitch pattern of row 2 and continue crocheting. At the end, pick up the braid of the slip stitch, and make a single crochet accordingly. Once the last single crochet is done, row 4 is completed. Now we'll work on row 5. Everyone, please refer to the chart first. Crochet until there's 1 treble crochet left at the end to decrease. The swatch has reached the corresponding position. Work 1 treble crochet decrease on the left stitch. First, make an incomplete treble crochet, yarn over the hook twice and insert into the stitch. Draw the yarn through. There are 4 loops on the hook now. Yarn over and draw through the first 2 loops. Repeat this twice. The incomplete treble crochet is done. Next, work another incomplete treble crochet on the left stitch. Let me demonstrate again. Yarn over the hook twice and insert into the stitch. Draw the yarn through. Then yarn over and draw through the first 2 loops twice in a row. The second stitch is completed. Finally, yarn over and draw through all loops in once. The treble crochet decrease is done. With that, the 5th row is also completed. For row 6, crochet following the same method as row 3. Pay attention to the different number of slip stitches and chain stitches. The last 2 rows follow the methods of row 4 and row 5. Work the corresponding stitch patterns accordingly. Everyone, refer to the chart and finish these rows. Finally, cut the yarn and weave in the ends. This completes the explanation for tail 1. Any remaining tail 1 parts can be crocheted following the same method. The stitch techniques and methods used for tail 2 have already been demonstrated earlier. Everyone, just follow the chart to crochet. Remember to leave a 20 cm yarn tail at the beginning. With that, the explanation for all the tails is completed. Next, we'll move on to assembly. First, assemble the motif decorations. Then, assemble the fan handle decorations. After that, assemble the face and eye sockets. Next, assemble the tails. Finally, assemble the fins. Now, watch me demonstrate the specific assembly method. First, assemble the motif decorations. Take 2 motif pads and 2 round beads in the corresponding color. Cut a 3/0 cm piece of gold thread and thread it into a sewing needle, ready for use. First, place the raised centers of the 2 motif pads facing each other. Slightly press the petals of the motif pads flat with your hands. After pressing it flat, take the main part. Place it with the fan handle facing downward. Next, position the motif pad at the starting stitch of the main motif. Pay attention to have one petal facing upward. Then sew through the chain spaces on the petals of the motif pad. While sewing, also go through the starting stitch of the main motif. Continue sewing following this method. Finally, pull the thread out through the center hole of the motif pad. Sew on one round bead. Then thread through the center to the other side. Sew on another one. Finally tie off and weave in the ends. This way the motif decoration is assembled. Next, assemble the fan handle decoration. First take the metal motif. Then roll it into a tube shape on the pen barrel. Then slip it onto the fan handle. After completing, take one closed jump ring. Open both ends. Insert it into the hole at the bottom of the fan handle. Pinch it tightly with your hand. Then cut a 20 cm piece of corresponding yarn. Gently pinch the yarn with your left hand. Pull out 3 strands with your right hand. Thread the needle. Leave a little yarn tail. First, weave in 1 tassel. Then thread on 1 red glass bead. One 4 mm pearl. One glass bead. The swatch here uses random colors. Next, weave in 1 4 mm pearl. Then thread on a closed loop. Tie a knot. Then thread back through the pearl and glass bead. Then tie a knot with the yarn tail from the tassel. Finally, weave in and cut the yarn. The fan handle decoration is now assembled. Next, assemble the face and eye sockets. First, sew the eye sockets onto the face separately. Sew on sequin pearls after completion. Next, make a button loop. Sew on a pearl button. Then assemble it onto the main part. Next, glue on semicircle eyes. Finally, wrap the light string around. Now, let's sew. Take 1 face piece and 1 eye socket. Mindful that the right side faces out. Turn the face opening to the right. Then sew the left side of the eye socket to the 4th round, on the left side of the face. Sew the right side of the eye socket to the middle position of the 3rd round, on the right side of the face. Make sure both top and bottom are symmetrical. You can apply glue in the middle to secure it. Then thread the reserved yarn tail of the eye socket onto a sewing needle. Sew along the stitch edges of the eye socket. Pay attention not to cover the slip stitch area with gold thread. After sewing one round, tie a knot on the back side. Cut the yarn and weave in the ends. This completes one eye socket. Sew the other one using the same method. Everyone, please complete this step. After that, sew on the sequins and pearls. On the 6th round of the face, sew 7 groups of sequins and pearls. Cut a 3/0 cm piece of corresponding yarn. Hold the yarn with your left hand. Use your right hand to pull out 2 strands. Thread the needle. Position the opening on the face to the right side. Sew 1 sequin underneath the 6th round of the face. Then thread a small pearl. Go back through the sequin. Finally, insert into the face fabric. This completes one group of sequin and pearl. Next, skip 5 stitches to the right and sew another group. This completes another group. Continue sewing the rest using the same method. Complete the other side using the same technique. Everyone, make sure all the pearls and sequins are sewn on. Next, use the corresponding yarn to make a button loop on one of the face pieces. Join the yarn on the stitch at the middle of the color change mark. Then crochet 10 chain stitches. Next, slip stitch into the left stitch. Pull tight. Fasten off and weave in the ends. This completes the button loop. Then cut a 30 cm piece of corresponding yarn. Sew on the purl button. On the corresponding position of the button loop on the other face piece. Sew on a purl button. Match up the two face pieces at the opening. Then thread the yarn tail through the sewing needle. First, tie a knot inside. Then sew on the purl button. Finally, tie off and weave in the ends. This completes the sewing of the purl button. Next, sew the face onto the main part. Position it with the fan handle facing down, with the right side of the main part facing you. Place the face piece with the button loop in front of the main part. Place the piece with the purl button behind the main part. Place the two face pieces wrong sides together. Match up the opening. Then align the opening with the edge of the motif on the left upper side of round 3 of the main part. Then position the pointed end of the face towards the upper left. Make sure the button loops are symmetrically placed on both sides. Leave an opening of about 4 cm unstitched. You can cut a few yarn tails, and secure them along the edge of the face. After securing, cut a 50 cm length of corresponding yarn and thread it into a sewing needle. Use the whip stitch method to sew. Start by inserting the needle into the 4th stitch, above the color change mark from below. Tie a knot. Then pick up the back loop of the front piece, which is the strand of the stitch that's farther away from you. Then pick up the front loop of the back piece, which is the strand of the stitch that's closer to you. Match and sew together a few stitches. Then pick up the back loop of the 7th row on the front piece, and the front loop of the 7th row on the back piece to sew. When you reach the fan frame position, sew and secure a few times more. When you reach the main part, sew it in as well. Continue sewing in this way until you reach the opening on the right side. When you reach the opening, leave 4 stitches unsewn. 1. Pass through the middle. 'Sew the top part next. Then sew up to the fan frame position. When you reach the top fan frame position, draw the light string through the opening. Then insert the batteries. Make sure the switch position is facing upward. Then stuff with some cotton. Continue sewing afterward. Leave an opening on the left side. Also sew 4 stitches at the color change mark on the top. Finally, tie a knot inside, hide the yarn tail, and cut the yarn. Everyone, sew the face on. Next, apply glue to the eyeball, and attach it to the left side of the eye socket, slightly above the edge of the second round. And another one on the back, symmetrically opposite the eye socket. Then draw the light string out from the 4th round of the main part. through the middle gap of each group of double crochets. Then draw it out through the chain stitch on the right side. Then through the middle gap of the next group of double crochets. Follow this method to thread it below the face. Once you reach below the face, bend the light string. Draw it out through the middle gap of the group of double crochets on the 6th round at the back, then through the gap of the double crochet on the 7th round on the left side. Then insert it into the next gap. Follow this method to thread through this round. Make sure to complete threading this entire round this way. Be mindful not to pull the wire too tight. Once done, wrap the end of the light string. This completes the assembly of the face. Next, assemble the tail. Take out any one of the tail pieces, tail 1, then take out the chiffon yarn and fold it in half. Pay attention to the direction of the gold thread, it should match the direction of the tail. Trim the edges following the outline of the tail. Keep about 2 cm away from the edge. After cutting, use a lighter to gently heat the edges. This helps prevent fraying. Then take out tail 2 and the chiffon yarn. Fold the chiffon yarn in half. Trim the chiffon yarn along the outline. Follow the outline of tail 2 to trim the chiffon yarn. Keep about 1 centimeter away from the edge. Once done, use a lighter to gently heat the edges. Everyone, follow this method to cut all the chiffon yarn pieces. Next, sew the edges of tail 1 and tail 2 together. Take one tail 1 and 2 tail 2 pieces. Make sure the front sides are facing you. Place the 2 tail 2 pieces on the top and bottom sides of tail 1. Then thread the reserved yarn tail from tail 1 into the yarn needle. Use the whip stitch to sew the starting stitch position of tail 1 to the last row stitch position of the lower tail 2. Pick up the stitches of the lower fabric piece. Then pick up the remaining 2 strands of tail 1's starting stitch. Sew a few stitches, matching the corresponding positions. Once done, insert from the back of tail 1 towards the top. Once done, insert from the back of tail 1 towards the top. Then sew a few stitches, where the last row of tail 1 meets the starting stitch position of the upper tail 2. Once done, tie a knot inside. Weave in and cut the yarn. This completes one set of tails. Sew the other set together in the same way. Next, cut a 50 cm piece of yarn matching the tail color. Remove 2 strands and thread them through the sewing needle. At the left third of the lower tail 2. First, sew on an oval sequin. Insert from the inside. Then thread through one oval sequin. One oval sequin. You can sew it a bit tighter. To make the oval sequin fit closely to tail 2. Then pass through the inside of tail 2. And exit at the last row. Sew on a small purl at the 2/3 point on the right side. Skip 4 stitches. Sew another purl on the right side. Pass through from the inside. Then tie a knot inside. Weave in and cut the yarn. This completes the decoration on the lower part of tail 2. The small purls on tail 1, and the upper part of tail 2, as well as the sewing method for the oval sequin, are similar to the method used on the lower part of tail 2. You can follow the finished product, or sew according to your own preference. Next, glue on some chiffon fabric. Place the 2 groups of tails, with their right sides facing out, and wrong sides facing each other. Align the reserved yarn tails. Then fold the chiffon fabric in half and insert it into the middle of both tails. Pay attention to keep the folded part from extending beyond the left side of the tails. Next, apply glue to secure it. Also apply glue to the middle part of the chiffon fabric. After attaching it properly, sew the tails onto the main part. Thread the reserved tail of tail 2 through a yarn needle, and sew it onto the last round, on the right side of the main part. Between these 2 groups of double crochets on the far right, pick any 2 threads along the edge of the tail, mindful to insert through both layers of fabric, and also through the stitches of the final round. Sew securely following this method. Finally, tie a knot on the wrong side. Cut the yarn and weave in the ends. This way the tail is assembled. Next let's assemble the fins. Cut out the paper pattern. The paper pattern is used for teaching here. Everyone please follow the actual project in your hands. Then cut 3 pieces of chiffon along the paper pattern outline. Mindful of the direction of the gold thread. Next cut a 30 cm piece of corresponding yarn. Take out 2 strands. Thread the yarn needle and set aside. Then take 2 pieces of chiffon. Place them staggered top and bottom. Fold them in half from the middle. Assemble on the right side of the face, on the double crochet stitch on the right side of the 7th round. Then sew through a few stitches on the folded section to secure it. Tie a knot on the yarn tail. Next take 2 motif pads and 2 glass beads in corresponding colors. First sew 1 motif pad at the sewing position. Then sew 1 glass bead. Next go back through the motif pad into the chiffon. Then tie a knot. And repeat this process in the same way. Sew 1 motif pad and 1 glass bead on the other side of the chiffon. Finally tie a knot and weave in the ends. This completes 1 fin. There is 1 more set of fins. Use 1 piece of chiffon, sew it underneath the main part, between the face and the fan handle. On this double crochet stitch of the 4th round of the main part. After completing it, sew on the motif pad and glass bead. Everyone sew the fins properly. Next, glue the half round pearls onto the main part's motif. Starting from the right side of the face, at this group of stitches, on the 6th round of the motif, glue 1 group of half round pearls every other motif. Continue gluing all the way to the motif underneath the face. Take 2 half round pearls. Apply glue on them. Glue them at the center of the motif. This completes one group of half-round pearls. Glue the remaining half-round pearls following this method. That's all for the assembly instructions. Up to this point, the crochet method for this round fan is completely explained. If you have any unclear points during the crocheting process, don't hesitate to contact our customer service. Susan's family, supporting your handwork experience, sharing the joy of life. Thank you for watching. See you in the next episode.